my orange good to go? All right. Good, well, I just got to find my good evening. The time of 6:30 having arrived. Ish time arriving. The August 19th meeting of the Rochester Board of Education is hereby called to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Town. Here. Ms. Lamontagne.
Present.
Mr. Childs. Here. Mr. Slaughterback. Present. Mr. Carly.
Present.
Mrs. Hurley.
We do that just to trip you up, but yes, I'm here. Oh, and last.
Oh, Dr. Graff.
Present.
All right, let's stand and face the flag of the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda as presented and posted on the page? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Tapp. Yes. Ms. Lamontagne.
Yes.
Mr. Childs.
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback.
Yes.
Dr. Graff.
Yes.
Mr. Carly.
Yes.
Mrs. Gurley? Yes. If I didn't hear myself. Thank you.
Good.
Excellent. Okay, so on the sign-in sheet, we do have several visitors who have identified that they would like to address the board. Okay, all right. I would like to invite one Sophia Chestnut to address the board. Please and thank you.
Good evening, members of the board, administrators, teachers, and community members. My name is Sophia Chestnut, and I'm here because I believe every Rocket deserves to feel like they belong. Over the past year, our community has experienced heartbreaking losses. While we may never know all the circumstances surrounding those tragedies, I think they've all reminded us of how important it is to make every student feel seen, heard, and supported before they reach a crisis. I'd like to propose a new student organization called Are You Kind? Rocket Up Club. The purpose of this club isn't to replace counselors or teachers. It's to simply help students build a culture of kindness, inclusion, and peer support. Sometimes students are more comfortable talking to other students first, even as simple as someone noticing you, inviting you to sit with them at lunch, or inviting you to come over. Our club would organize kindness campaigns, welcome new students, and recognize acts of kindness with school counselors for awareness events and encourage students to look out for one another. One idea I'm especially excited about is a Rocket Voice Anonymous box. Students would submit situations or questions they're seeing. This would not be names, personal stories, or any type of confusion. And with staff advisors reviewing every submission. The class would discuss positive ways to respond to it, to respond to it. It would help students learn how to support each other by protecting everyone's privacy. Our motto would be simple. Are you kind? It's a question we can ask ourselves every day. Being kind costs nothing, but it can mean everything to someone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. This is a brand new high schooler with us, right? Or are you sophomore?
Freshman.
You're I know. That's great. So on day 3 of high school, thank you for joining us, ma'am. Yes, she does an excellent job. Nice and loud. If we have audio trouble with that one, we'll know that we'll have to do something different for September. So we thank you very much for sharing that idea with us. Thank you so much. Casey.
I'm speaking on proxy for Lily Coy. She is a junior at Rochester High School. Unfortunately, she was going to come and help Sophia out, but she got called into work, so I couldn't make it. It's very brief, just kind of touching base. You guys are getting a little packet that's coming around that just kind of explains a little bit of what Sophia just talked on. The different kinds of activities that they can have. A Rocket Connections lunch where students might get a card or a color. It might introduce ways to mingle with other students that they might not normally get. So you match up with your color, you match up with your theme, you sit at that table for the lunch, just kind of get to know each other. New student welcome crew, kindness cards, where they can say, you know, nice things about staff or other students. You Matter Week, a positive message, encouraging notes, compliment cards, etc. The Rocket Kindness Challenge, where there's just monthly challenges to include someone new, thank a staff member, help someone without being asked, or give someone a genuine compliment, kids getting recognized for their kind behavior. Rocket staff shout outs, and then maybe even Rockets giving back. So an occasional community service project, such as doing cards for nursing homes, donation drives, or helping younger Rochester students. Because I know we have some of that already in works, which is awesome. RHS offers a variety of academic, cultural, service, and interest-based clubs. However, there appears to be a gap in student-led programming specifically focused on kindness, belonging, peer connection, and positive school culture. Are You Kind is designed to fill a gap and provide students with a dedicated space to strengthen connections, encourage one another, and help build a school community where every student feels seen, valued, and included.
Thank you so much, and please, oh yes, thank you, and, please share with Lily that that's big grown-up stuff.
Yes.
Grown-up stuff getting called into work, so we
Yeah.
are.
I got a text today, she was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I was
Well.
like, well, you're gonna go to work and I'll talk for you, it'll be fine.
And thank you for also passing along that lesson that you go to work. Yes, step up and step in, we step up and step in, so thank her very much.
The girls have been working on this for a while.
Love it,
so,
thank you so much, I love it.
It's all, everything to them for this, so they did fantastic with picking up and running with it too, so.
Wonderful,
Shout out to
thank
them.
you so much, so please share that with Lily. Mr. Boyd, welcome back. Happy August.
Members of the Rochester School Board, I spoke at the May 20th meeting regarding the renewal of the air markets as a food service product. At that time, I raised concerns about inaccurate reporting in Skyward of lunch menus, or lunch items in Skyward, including examples such as where ice cream would have been reported as extra entree, yogurt commonly appeared as fruit veg, or even Capri Sun pouches showing up as water. I appreciated the board's response that evening. Several board members agreed with my concerns about accuracy, and in some cases, members engaged with me directly through questions and discussion. Very much appreciated the dialogue, and I believe it showed that this is a reasonable concern shared by both parents and board members themselves. I'm also thankful for the continued communication and follow-ups from Mr. Taft. It has reaffirmed to me that the board had not simply ignored my request. I understand since then that the Airmark contract had been approved that night, and I also now understand that the Airmark appears to own or control the point-of-sale system being used in the lunch line. That's inferred based on the communication that you and I had. That may simply just been inferred from email stuff. Okay. Yes. Mr. Severstein had mentioned that he thought the school owned the point of sales. At that point in time, I'm just trying to figure out whatever it is has that integration in Skyward. However that is. With that in mind, I'd like to follow up with another request for the next renewal process and or any future contract with a new food service provider. I ask that the district include clear, enforceable language requiring accurate reporting in the point of sale system. Parents should be able to look at the child's lunch account and know what was actually purchased, especially when there are dietary restrictions, allergies, and or family rules surrounding food choices. I would also ask that the contract include expectations for cashier training whenever new items, special offerings, or menu changes are introduced. If an item is added to the lunch line, staff should know how to ring it up accurately, and parents should not have to guess what charges are. And also in cases where there may be a financial mismatch between what gets rung up and what actually is, over an entire year, that can add up to significant money. While most of us are relatively comfortable, not everybody is. So that is a significant issue. The issue is never about one ice cream purchased or one small charge. The larger concern is accuracy, transparency, and parent communication. Since lunch purchases involve both student well-being and family funds, I believe it is reasonable for the district to expect its vendors to provide accurate reporting and proper staff training. I would also like to ask one more thing, as I promised my fifth grader that I would inquire about. He asked that a few more days of summer break be granted for next year.
Hey. Is there a second? Yeah. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Those are the 3 visitors today who indicated they wanted to address the board. Is there anybody else who would like to address the board before we move along? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to good news items and what? Okay. Excellent, sounds great. Love that. Good news items, recognition. We have some new smiley faces in the room. Thanks so much.
Teachers, okay,
Hey.
all right. I'm glad they're still smiling because it's been a long week.
And it's only
and it's
Wednesday.
only Wednesday, as I keep reminding myself. But we do have a few of our new staff that are joining us for the 2026 school year. These guys were very brave to come in the beginning of August. We started our Italian journey, even went on a bus tour around Rochester. So these guys sweated it out, but definitely embraced the theme. And as I told them, you'll never be closer with anyone else than like your class of people that you start teaching with, right? So I sort of remember that myself. So we have Allie McBride, who joins us as one of our new pre-K teachers. Yep. You only got like a good picture. That's right. We have Abby Butler, who is joining us in first grade at Rochester Elementary.
We also got an A class during the class transfer today for students. That's stressful.
And her first graders look like third graders. The way they are just following routines and procedures, they are falling in, like good things are happening in Ms. Butler's class. I've seen them walking down the hall. They're on point.
I think it's because they think you stole Miss B's earrings. And they're nervous.
I have to tell you, for buses, it was a kindergartner that told me, "Can we wait? I don't want to get lost."
Yes, you may. Yes, you may. Good job.
We also have Courtney Bartolomucci, great name. There we go, Bartolomucci. Too many syllables for me. Joining us in special education. And we also have Kinley Graham Kinley. I knew I was gonna do it. I told myself I wasn't gonna do it. Thank you, Will the real. Joining us from RIS as a music teacher.
We also entertain the transportation.
Yeah, I walk around with a ukulele.
Yes. Yes. So these guys were able to join us this evening, but we also have Megan Morris, who's a pre-K teacher at Rochester Elementary School. We have Aurora Barnes, who is a new third grade teacher at Rochester Intermediate. Morgan Roots as a third grade teacher at Rochester Intermediate. Caden Slayman, who joins us as a special education teacher at RIS. Riley Kerrigan, who I've probably also called Kerrigan Riley, who joins us as a special education teacher at RIS. Sarah Matheny, also known as Sarah McCoy, joins us as a third grade teacher at Rochester Intermediate School. And last but certainly not least, Erin Sullivan joins us as a special education teacher at the high school. So thank you guys for coming this evening. Thank you.
Hey, and tell your colleagues, no shame not coming. We appreciate, love seeing your faces.
Yes.
But do what you've got to get to birthday.
Yeah.
so
See a drop on
thank you
the
so much. Yes, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your first week. Thank you. Is that your water?
It is, thank you.
Okay, you would have missed it when you got to the car.
Thank you.
Now we have another.
We have another good news.
Who's also worked all day.
And 2 kids on day 3 as well.
So Coach Howard, would you come on, please? And we will have goodie bags.
Oh.
They're just not made yet, so,
Finding all the things. We're
Right.
first week.
so we wanted to recognize Coach Howard last month because you got this award before our last meeting. She was voted, and this is a long title, so I don't want to get all of it. Here we go. She was voted Illinois Softball Coaches Association 2A Sectional Coach of the Year, which is a huge deal. So, has anyone in Rochester, have you gotten it before?
I have not gotten it.
Okay, so I don't know if you have, I looked it up and they have not, so.
And that's
So quite a big accomplishment, 17 years as a softball coach. Okay, and what was the record last year?
Last year we were 12.
And went all the way to
We got to the sectional championship.
next year you're gonna win it, this year you're gonna win it, before next year. Yes, well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Excellent job. You guys gotta be in your
You
best
also-
behavior
yeah.
because mom's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yes, big deal.
She's coach of the year.
Yes.
Thank you.
So have a great first week, guys.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Anybody else have any good news they would like to share? I remember thinking I had something to share. It's all good. Just making it. Okay. All right, we will move along to the informational part of the agenda. First up, the committee reports since last board meeting. Finance committee met, and we are the only committee that met. All right.
So, large topic conversation. Do you want to actually talk about just the transfer of funds and how we're thinking through that? I know it's in your treasurer's report, but maybe we pull it, part that up here.
We do, well, that's an action item, so we can just
All right, so we'll
mention it.
table out one, we discussed that in length and really tried to understand. Again, we're gonna potentially vote on how to change up how our funds are routed and where they're going. And I think that was a very positive discussion. Obviously, when our money is moving, we wanna know where it's going and make sure we have access to it and all those kinds of good things. So that was where, I'm glad we had a robust conversation on that. Talked about budget a little bit. I was really appreciative of Ms. Evans talking through our account tables and how we're looking to change those up and put those where they need to be so that we can get better reporting out as a finance committee and then ultimately for a board and the community so that we have more transparency. And I think transparency means that it is clear and simplified for anybody to be able to digest that information and then understand what the broad stroke finances are for our school. I think then from that point, the board may want to dig a little bit deeper, and having that ability is crucial. And certainly the finance committee wants to be able to really get in the weeds if we want to check in and make sure that everything's working properly in our schools. And I think we are well on our way for that. And so, again, that was one thing that we wanted to start working on last year, was a goal of last year, and we had a lot of moving parts last year, but I think we're recommitted to that effort. Look forward to seeing what the deliverables look like for that. Beyond that, I think those are the main things we'll talk through. Again, I'll go through treasurer's report, we'll get to the rest of that. But yeah, I'll pause there.
Great, thank you. Any questions from finance committee? And lots of us were at finance committee. Was there anything else that you thought we needed to make sure that we report on?
So we did talk about, so we did talk about auditor a little bit, so they're gonna be here.
It's the end of.
Week of, well, they're coming for field work the week of August 31st.
So with that, there was some account issues with some of the grant stuff that we have. unfortunately, some of the grants we had and the timing of when we spent money relative to them didn't line up. I think that's going to require us to have to pay back some of those grants.
And that's
Yeah.
a separate audit, so.
Yes,
that
that is
audit-
the audit.
Yes, and we get the final report on that this week.
So that's something we are going to address with our auditor, because that, I think, should have been called out. And so I want to understand how that was an issue and how it wasn't, because that's real money that we no longer have available to us. Disappointed in that one, and again, I think that this is why we're encouraged that the account tables are getting revamped. We've got to get that fixed, because we can't have that, quite honestly. That's a miss, that's a gap, and so we gotta get that fixed. So we'll address that with audit, and then also try to make sure that we've got our safeguards in place. We need more than just status being our safeguard. We gotta make sure that there's other, things that we put in place, checks and balances that we put in place to ensure that that doesn't happen as well. There's other kind of other pieces there too, so, that is the thing with those items.
Yeah, thanks. I was encouraged at the committee to hear the kind of things that are getting put in place so that to ensure that there's not two people doing one thing and no one doing the other thing, and really a good cross training. Appreciate calling in additional training support, calling in, I know we've had some blasts from the past. Budget Bob has popped in, Mr. McDermott, who I don't even know. Maybe I know Budget Bob, but I just don't know the name Budget Bob. So we thank him for his service and that. So much appreciated. I mean, we talked a little bit about that at the finance committee as well. Okay, anybody, anything else? Okay. Construction update.
So tennis courts are done, so you can see that our students are able to practice and have their matches, which is nice that they're not having to travel to a place that we have to rent, in order to play tennis. So that part is complete. We are still waiting on the football field to get corrected, and so we are paying, a portion of the last bill. But we still have, what work needs to be done on the football field. We are hoping to come back.
Great, thank you. And the tennis court is done to our satisfaction?
They are.
Okay, excellent, thank you. Thank you for the work of everybody making double short.
Question, is there any kind of warranty with the repairs they made?
So that is something that we are going to discuss, hopefully
Tennis-
building.
tennis or
committee.
Tennis, tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah, like what they just did.
It's
Yeah.
both,
Okay.
and, it was part of closing out the project. We're
Right.
not closing out the
Yeah.
project tonight. So
Okay.
once we get, a representative either from BLDD or else in Wilson to come
Okay.
talk to us about that warranty.
Okay.
There was something proposed, but we're not moving forward till we
Okay.
hear from them in person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, exciting. 6.3, I see.
Yes. Britt, did you want to share your meeting with SK and?
Yeah. So Jeff Callister, who is a parent in the district, he is the owner of S&K Buick, which is right off of Route 29 into Springfield. And he has approached us about donating a car to the school district for driver's ed. I don't know, I've driven past a few of the driver's ed cars and some of them need some TLC. And we met with him a couple weeks ago, and this is continued dialogue that he wants to donate, which is awesome, and hoping the board obviously I think would approve that, but just have to bring it to the board's attention. But he's been very great to work with and meet.
Thank you for that, and thank you to S&K and Jeff. Man, this freshman class is showing up and showing out tonight. He has a freshman. The board in the past has been, there's no action item on it today, because I know you guys are still talking, but the board has, in the past, been very open and encouraging when community partners want to, help us educate the children of this community. Does anybody have any questions that they want to make sure that Brittany poses when they further conversation, or if you think of anything, shoot her an email ahead of those conversations.
And he already put together a contract, and we just have to have our attorney.
Yes,
and his attorney.
Yeah.
Wonderful, okay.
So we could expect something as soon as next board meeting?
And is this something the board would want to vote on as a donation, or is this something that we can accept?
Yeah, so it's it's a lease situation.
It is a lease, but there are, yes,
Yep.
there are some parameters that the district would, have to cover cost of, that we discussed with Jeff, as far as, the break that has to be put in, and the break taken out, obviously, installation, insurance, things of those nature, and that's covered in the contract that he wrote up, and some edits that, I made, and just need to see if everyone's on board with it.
I mean, if there's a need for it, certainly,
Yeah.
I mean, if it helps us, financially, right, like, if it's, I mean, that's.
Can we take the positive approach and just accept the card and donate it ahead of time? Thank you very much.
I think that
Put your name on the side of it.
I love that option, which it sounds like, taking Mr. Childs's suggestion, it sounds like we would be, or I guess I should pose, are we comfortable giving Molly the authority to accept the vehicle in the contract unless our attorney tells us it's something that the board does need to take action on, in which case bring it to the board in September?
I guess, again, it's just kind of broader question. Do you have any concerns with accepting the gift? Are there any, I haven't been part of the discussion.
I do not. I agree with Brittany. Some of our cars are less than desirable at this point, and this is a great partnership, a great thing for a business to do, so we appreciate it.
Yes, and
Sounds like you're gracious.
he's a big supporter of Rochester too, big football father, and just loves the community and the school, so I think this is a great item to, hopefully we can continue it.
That's wonderful.
Sounds waiting for.
Yeah, well, we gotta decide things till we take a look. But yes, so can proceed forward, and it'll come back to us either, as an acceptance of a donation, good news, or an action item in September. Okay, thank you very much for that. Point of service, school breakfast and lunch fees. So this is something we've heard a little bit about. We heard it at the end of the year, again, this evening. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Brittany, tell me about it.
Thank you for coming back. I was at the board meeting you came to for May, so I appreciate you coming back and staying on us about updates. I met with Michelle, the food service director, this week, and to address some of your concerns, and I went and looked at it at the high school, what, the POS system looks like, because I had no idea what it looked like, so I wanted to see it in person and the changes they made. They clearly labeled on the POS screen of what each item is. There's menu pricing, posted in all the buildings, pricing and labels on all of the cases for all the food items. She told me that she has retrained all of their staff on the new updates they made to make sure all of the buttons are clearly labeled for their cashiers that are going through. The other thing that they retrained on is to reinforce the customer change button after every transaction to help prevent purchases from being charged to the wrong student account. And particularly when, Wi-Fi might lag, it sounds like you have a digital electronic data background, so you're probably familiar with this. And if there are questions or concerns, please bring those to either myself and we can get in contact with Michelle, or Michelle is always readily available for questions and concerns, but I hope these,
Just waiting.
yeah.
Example, couple more questions.
So hopefully this will help with some of the discrepancy on labeling and purchases, and so there's clear communication and transparency on what your child is purchasing.
Brittany, is that, did Michelle share that it was consistent, across the building?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to do it this week, but I'm going next week to the elementary and intermediate to see those systems and get walked through those as well with Michelle.
If we evaluated or surveyed our families to see if everyone is where their satisfaction is.
Yeah, I wouldn't know actually.
Yeah.
So you're, we had talked about potentially opening the bidding process up, and the way the contract worked, I think, kind of had to extend it. We didn't have a choice on that one for whatever reason. And then again, yeah, so I think what we were hoping for is this year, because I think there's gotta be a pretty big lead time on getting another food service provider approved. And if I recall, like, we have to make that decision this fall for next year.
Cause it's a relationship to I'm pretty sure it's to the federal grants around food.
Yes.
Right, so part of it, and we participate in some programs at some buildings and not at others, so that was part of it. We also, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure that both times I have been watching board stuff where there has been a bid, there has only been one.
Right, but we had another organization that was essentially proposed to us. That was more, they advertised more as a clean label type.
Yes.
Group. And so I thought we were gonna try to see, what they had to offer in terms of an alternative. And I think there was either,
It's a timing
they were gonna do some sort of.
Yeah, I think it was just
And so I would welcome that again, is just to see another option at a certain point, because I think it's just good to see other options from a nutritional standpoint, as well as obviously they're gonna have to go through bidding process and things like that, but it would be good just to see alternatives, so.
The reason I ask that is because Mr. Boyd is not the first person in the community that I have heard this from. Okay, good.
One of the, I mean, I welcome us, looking at, options, healthy options, clarity of what's, people are buying. I do think one of the challenges in the past is when we put it up for bid, given the size of the school and it's not like there's a dozen choices. There's been one or maybe two, we can look back through the records on the bidding, but that is a challenge. So as we go forward, we should, over the coming year, think of what other options there are. But one of the issues is that there haven't been a lot of options to choose from, so that makes it difficult.
But I think, let's hold both things at the same time. Really understand what the community is saying their issues are, so we can keep working with Michelle. Seeing if we can get those things addressed, and at the same time, continue to evaluate what options we have available.
And I'll say, we have actually, when we have brought specific concerns to folks who work with our school, we have gotten pretty responsive, very receptive. We were at conference and walked by, and I don't even remember, I had just gotten a video from the high school, from one of my kids' friends, shared it with the woman. She's like, absolutely not. She's like, she was from Illiopolis. She's like, absolutely, no, that is not a thing. And we happened to be walking down the hall as we were past her table, and they were very responsive. So I do think that we can't be loath to ask because we don't have bidders, or to get customer service, or to respond. I'll say, I got a survey to my, but I think it was to my school inbox, and so it makes me think that it was to the board about our contractual relationship versus.
That was the parent.
Was that, okay,
Yeah, that was a parent survey, but I think it was directly from Aaron.
Yeah,
So-
okay, yes.
does that sound vaguely familiar? So I do think, I didn't see any
I don't know the result,
or any
but I
outcome,
did
yeah.
submit it.
Yeah, so that could be a thing we could ask about too, is did you survey our parents
And what did
and what was the
results?
what did they say, so.
Is the salad bar new? I've heard salad bar from both of my kids, which they were thrilled about.
Well, it's all, no, I think so.
I made a note that I would love to get to her for Michelle to better understand that side of things, so,
Yeah.
as a side note.
Okay. All right, Mr. Boyd, go ahead.
I just have one or two questions based on your comments. One of the responses that I'd heard from several other parents as they had made the same concerns known, both to the board in the past, in previous years, was that there, quote, were not enough buttons on the point of sale system to ring each item up individually, which creates the accuracy problem. If they've got to double up on buttons because it's the same price, because they don't have enough buttons pre-programmed, that's an easy fix. in previous lives, I've deployed hundreds of point of sale systems. So this is not rocket science, especially for a cloud-based system like that. That should have been, if that issue had been addressed and brought to the board, brought to Airmark in years past, we should not be talking about this now. That's easy PR, as I said in my emails, and especially Mr. Taft, that's easy PR to bring back to the community. Hey, look, we've done this, we've heard you, let's move forward, so thank you very much. Was that mentioned, had that been addressed?
Yes.
Okay.
And she showed me all the buttons and everything.
Sure.
Every single item has a button on it, new added items. They had a new muscle milk protein, because protein's like all the rage now with the kids. So they added that in.
Sure.
But I will confirm again and follow back up with you. Just
Fantastic.
to give you
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay. Anybody, anything else on school point of sale? School food point of sale? Okay. All right. Good. Because I see that September 4th senior night is not under the good news items.
It is not, and not for lack of trying. JR has really tried to find an opponent for the September 4th football game, which is also senior night for not just football, it's for band and for cheerleaders and everyone that's involved with
Fall sports that don't have an
Yeah.
separate.
Right, so, we've tried 5 states now. We had one that we thought was willing, and they watched video of our team and said, I guess that's a good thing, but if no one wants to play us, I mean, I guess that says something.
I mean, it does say something, but it does, I mean, it's the only night off I'll have that week, so.
So
Hard to say.
as of now,
And that is, of course, because Decatur Eisenhower canceled their varsity season.
Yeah.
So it didn't affect the JV or the, I don't think freshmen were playing them anyway, but didn't affect the JV schedule, but doesn't affect the varsity schedule, which of course Friday night was when senior night was, so. Darn.
so there are plans to do either a scrimmage, I said the
Somebody
same.
else.
Okay, I think we should bring the inaugural football team back.
They said the liability.
Yeah.
I know, that's right.
You're
There you go.
I love that people were saying, you know, there was a 1450, I guess, poll of who Rochester
Oh.
played. They didn't have a high school team, they said the Chicago.
Yeah.
Bulls on that, so.
They wanted us to play. Hey, let's ride around, we can do.
Was there any consideration to moving it on Saturday to try to
We
find a
talked
team?
about that as well, but that's when 8-man football plays and all the officials, it's hard to find officials at that point, because Saturdays are for 8-man. Small ball.
It's unfortunate, for us, it's also, I think it's a point of, like, we're pretty, blessed that we have senior nights packed with kids in every, throughout the fall. It's really awesome for us, and just disappointing for them. I'm sure the kids that didn't want to play for their team were disappointed, and, you know, hopefully they can rebound and come back, because, you know, I think it's important for kids to do the extracurricular. So we're fortunate in this community to have that.
Riverton rebuilt that.
Yeah.
Will senior night move to another night, or are they gonna stay with the
At
scrimmage?
this point, we're staying September 4th, and we'll get information out. JR was calling a couple other teams, but we'll do a scrimmage of some sort, or we'll make Aaron play as an alum.
Love it.
Put your kindergartners out there.
Big fan, big fan.
Yeah, there you go. Put flags on the high school boys and have the kindergartners go out there.
Okay, oh yes, all right, board meeting structure. So, we had talked, if you recall, we changed the first August board meeting that was on the schedule to our board governance, review. And one of the things that we talked about, for how this board and with our new superintendent want to move forward was how we were gonna structure the board meetings, and something that I had never heard of before, and so had given very little thought to, which is hilarious because it's the thing that I hated when I sat out there, was the timing of closed session. And other boards in the area, including the Pawnee board, from where Mrs. Edmonds came, they do closed session first. We take roll, you open, an hour before the anticipated actual start time of open session. And in that hour, you carry on any closed, session business that you have to take care of. And then you go directly into we would start at 6, and then at 7 o'clock would be open session. And is when, if we had 30 minutes of closed session stuff, we would do 30 minutes of closed session stuff, and then open the doors and wait for people to come and talk about our kids and non-school district work. I have a whole array of animal videos that we could watch. In the meantime, many, many things. And it's one of the things that I very much hated when I sat out there, and I really hated when I sit here, is ushering the public out of the business. And then either having to call or we stood outside and ate trail mix, and then, during the primary bulk of, the work, we're coming back to kind of vote in name and yes and proof. So we're going to, one of the things we're gonna try it. We're going to try, to restructure the board meetings so that the open session will begin at 7 instead of 6:30. The board will meet at 6 p.m. instead of 6:30. Get our closed session work done ahead and be ready to start on time. And we hope that will feel less yucky, and we can be more efficient with our time. So, if anybody has any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me. But we're gonna give it a try. We're not married to anything. We're a continuous improvement district, dadgummit. So we'll try it. If it sucks, we'll revisit and let you know. But we will be updating. We'll update the records to reflect that our regularly scheduled board meetings will be closed session at 6, open session at 7, and hopefully Zoom to the moon.
Okay, and that is, we're going to
Implement
roll
that
out in September.
for the September
Okay,
board meeting.
So that'll be
Yep.
important.
Yep.
Like you said, it needs to be reflected on the school website and all of those things.
Yes.
Yep.
And we'll do a reminder ahead of time. Reminder, new start time for open session. Okay. Ms. Simmons, district office restructure.
So we alluded to this a little bit before, that there have been, just some, I guess, aha moments in the district office. One, the concern our chart of accounts, was not set up properly when we implemented Skyward. So when you're trying to do the budget, or you're trying to make decisions for the next year, the expenditures that have been made do not pull over, so you don't have an accurate number in the general ledger. So when you're trying to do short-term or long-term planning, it is not coming out the way that it should. So some changes that we've made. One of the areas where it was not pulling the proper chart of accounts was payroll. So it is very unique to ISB that you have your thousands, your 2,000s, your 3,000s, your 4,000s that we went over in finance the other day. Carrie now takes care of all the 100s and 200s, which are salaries and benefits, and those were being pulled from improper places. So trying to think of an example, there may have been elementary teachers that should have been coded in title in elementary, or we had our SRO was paid out of 1,500, which is sports. So there were just some things that were not coming out the way that they should. Plus, it impacts our staff's retirement. There was some TRS items that you had to put into place. And it just helps streamline, so we know exactly in each group how much we're paying in salaries, so we can go and look. Say we pick out guidance counselors. we're able to go straight to that line item, that chart of account, and see how much we're paying those. They were not grouped in that way, last year, and I don't know when it took a change, but the wrong chart of accounts were in it. Do you have anything to add to that for that portion, for salaries?
And so so if you are, trying to follow that, when she's saying hundreds and thousands, she means account numbers, and so that's a universal account numbering system that ISB, has set out that all school districts use. So only certain kinds of expenditures come from different accounts, or money goes into different accounts. So just making sure that we have aligned so that transportation funds are used to pay for transportation costs, and a pre-K for all grant monies are used for pre-K for all grant expenditures, and those are just the top two that I can think of that are distinct things, but like in that kind
And
of.
we will see when the ISB audit comes out, that's one of the items. We did not create the correct chart of accounts for our grants that we get from ISB. So there may have been some expenditures made on a credit card, and that credit card ended up in Fund 20, taking money out of Fund 20, then, which is building an operation other than Fund 10, that is education. With our transportation grant, we made claims on there, and again, nothing was done nefarious, it was just wrong accounting, was taken out of Fund 10, but claimed in Fund 40. So now that money, we have to pay back. Correct, yes. And I do have, Brittany provided me all the expenditures from last year based off of those hundreds, 300s, 400. And so you're able to see the wrong items going into the wrong card.
And so this, for the account, coding, or the chart of accounts has been wrong since inception?
Yes.
Yeah.
But Bob had a certain system that he used that he understood. It's the same with one of the people that we brought in to train from another district. They had their systems before these systems were established, and they knew those systems, so weren't always, I don't think Bob was thrilled about Skyward. And he had his own thing that worked, but then we had different people come in and those chart accounts are wrong. So when we were looking to do the budget, those were one of the things immediately that kept popping up. This isn't right. It's the person that I learned from, those chart accounts are stuck in my head. I don't have them memorized like she does, but it was enough that I could tell this isn't right. And then the ISB audit on top of that, it made us do a deep dive into everything. Everyone in this room that's in the district office has had to do a deep dive into those.
And the chart itself, just to give you the visual, the chart itself, it's actually, to be really far in the weeds, the object code had an extra zero in the front. And the problem with that extra zero in the front is that expenditures would then not import into the budget form and upload to ISB. Correct, so as they didn't match one extra fund zero. So, and what that meant for, like you said, for Bob, is that the accounting itself, the function codes and all of that, they were there, the object codes were not. He just, he created the budgets and gave it to us. It was, so that's.
Exactly.
He knew,
That-
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
correct, that is correct. So, to remedy that situation, payroll now has, as of 5:37 to this evening.
Excellent work.
Payroll has the correct chart of accounts attached to the brand new payroll that will start September 1st. And so, those expenditures will show in the proper chart of accounts. And then next year, those expenditures will show and then can be shown in the budget.
Cause it will, cause
Awesome.
we are fixing for 26, 27 moving forward.
Correct, but the stuff
yes,
The
we are still.
11, 26, 27, has
The
been.
first couple of months.
Yes.
So, a natural question when you hear funds wrong, paid, but I wanna make sure no money's missing,
It's just-
no money was, misappropriated, it was accounted for
Correct.
in a manner that was not consistent
Correct.
with,
It's a
Is-
puzzle not put together.
is the best practices.
Mostly like poor training.
Is it fair to say it was a bucketing issue, that the money would move to the wrong bucket?
I feel like I'm talking to my IASA budget trainer. Yes, they are all buckets, but it's not just the buckets that were wrong. It was, say it's a chain link that you have to put in each bucket. Chain links were not in the right sequence, or, some of them, were made up numbers, that you have to follow the chart of account that you'll see on the budget document. You can't just make up numbers, and some of the numbers.
I mean, to Sarah's side, I'm sure the community has questions. There was no funds that were misused,
No.
there was no
No.
intentional act, the money just
No.
wasn't applied to the right things. It was just a geography issue, all of the money is accounted for, all of those things. It was simply, just the accounts were set up improperly, so the money that has to move in a very technical way in a school district didn't move the way it should.
Process
Yes.
to fix once it's set up incorrectly. We had the same issue in Pawnee, and it took the person a good 6 months to clean it up. We're good with payroll right now, and now Brittany and her team are fixing the chart of accounts. It's gonna take us probably another couple of months to get it corrected, but that also means that the ledger for this year, we're having to go in and manually look at where each item goes. And we are doing a budget to actual. If we are over in any certain fund with any certain chain, if they start adding on more pieces, they're cut off. They're done after a certain point.
So, just to make sure that I understand what you're saying there is, with the things that we are implementing, on the 26, 27 budget, the FY 27 for the 26, 27 school year, the things that we're implementing will also prevent overpayment, and not really overpayment, but spending more than is budgeted for.
Correct. Now, we will go in, and we've already said we're doing an amended budget this year because we have not been able to completely finalize all the salaries and benefits. We'll have a more updated number next month, but we know we'll have to amend the budget.
Okay.
So, just to clear, so we'll eventually be able to clearly see budget at the very minimum by fund, and then hopefully some accounts below that. And then we can track, the goal will be is that we can track it monthly, so the board can say, hey, we forecasted the budget to be for October, that we're gonna spend X amount out of the ed fund. We spent Y, that was a shortfall, that was too much, too little, and so we're tracking above or below what we expected. That way we have an idea, as we don't wanna be surprised at the end of the year that, oh, we're, $750,000 over budget. And I think there's seasonality with that, so it's important to have specific months targeted, doesn't snow in the summertime, so. I think to the extent we can, I know it's not gonna be open, but to the extent we can get that will be helpful as a monthly visual for the board to be able to discuss,
After
so.
we adopt the budget in September, you will get that
Perfect.
each month
Yeah.
that shows in this fund, we've spent this much.
Yeah.
And see what is spent out of each fund.
Can I assume that after the reorganization of the charter accounts, that's gonna create an imbalance and or confusion of year-over-year numbers?
Yes, but we're not looking back, we're looking forward.
Absolutely.
So, looking forward, we'll be able,
Sure.
and we will be able to mesh those chart of accounts that, were set up incorrectly into
Got
the
start somewhere.
correct ones. So we will by the end of the year know how much we spent out of each one.
So thank you for taking those steps. Thank you for the team. The district office knew that we were gonna have a lot of change in the building. Looking forward, I'm not sure that anything could have probably prepared everybody in there.
She's
Mom.
where she needs to be.
Yes,
And
we are
then
so
we've got
thankful.
Robert Reynolds, who's been fantastic,
Yeah.
stepped into the coordinator position, so, he kind of helps all in the office. But, no, it's a great group, and Sloan is now, aboard. She was mainly special education. She now will be doing a smaller portion of that. She's also helping out with SIS, which is our student information system, and our WINS, which is our nutrition and human resources. So Sloan has taken on quite a few other responsibilities, but it did help. Sloan was doing some grant accounting as well, and then we have a district bookkeeper. We realigned that so that only one person is doing the bookkeeping portion so that they can monitor the general ledger, but we're also cross-training. So whomever inputs all the bills, which is our bookkeeper, there is gonna be another person that prints those checks. So there just needs to be more eyes on everything. And then the individuals that are responsible for grants, they're meeting monthly to reconcile. So we don't get to the end of the year and realize something is not right.
Got wonky somewhere along the way. Thank you for that.
And,
Yeah.
so I've heard you talk about upskilling, which is one of my questions, so I'll skip that one, that's excellent. Then from the standpoint of systems are changing, upskilling is happening, and so they were accountability. So you have a vision, you are, expressing this onto the team. Are we to assume that there's also an idea of what accountability will look like as we go through the year and how you'll
Hear that in the superintendent and assistant superintendent's goals tonight.
Would we be, I'm just a on-paper person, an updated org chart at some point?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not, it's not pressing.
So
You've got a
each, individual in the district office has received their new job description. So just wanted to give you all information tonight, and yes, we will share that with everyone, so that individuals know who to call. I think everyone still calls Carrie, but she has.
Really, I've never noticed. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? It was a lovely segue from district office restructure into the kind of a preamble to the tentative budget presentation. Do we have any questions about the district office stuff before we invite us, Ms. Edmonds to move us along? I know, just nodded, just Jeff. I know, I would love that. Jeff, 2002. I know. Okay. All right, thank you. We are going to move now to Molly's tentative budget presentation for FY '27.
And not only does Robert do the coordination, he's working 3 jobs here tonight. He set up the camera and he's running all these presentations. Okay, so this first document, that's perfect. Maybe just a little smaller, because I want to point out, last year, and again, the chart counts was not pulling, and I shared this with Matt in an earlier meeting, so I really appreciate too that union representation wants to hear all my budget geekiness, but we are deficit spending, or looking forecasted to deficit spend only in one fund this year. I don't know if you all remembered last year's budget presentation, but it was, no one saw that. It was in all but one fund that you deficit spent, or budgeted to deficit spend last year. So if everything works, thank you. Yep, sorry. If everything works out the way that we hope, and again, we know we are going to have to amend the budget in Fund 10 due to salaries, but we do not look to deficit spend, but we will have, reserve of hopefully between 2 and 3 million for next year. I'm looking at that 4.3 or 4.1, I need my glasses. And, that will decrease when we update the salaries. And I have an actual presentation, but I want to start out with this first so that you can see the budget document. Okay. So, change that one if you want to go to the presentation. Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to show. So sorry. So if you'll go back to that budget document and go to the very, very bottom. This is that exact document, when we were talking about the chart of accounts, you can see those numbers in the 8s that were there. We don't use those, but if you keep going down, Albert. All the way. There we go, right there. So this breaks down when I'm talking about the 100s, the 200s, the 300s, the 400s, and so on. Carrie is responsible for 100 and 200. Laura, our bookkeeper, is responsible for the 300s, 400s, all the way down. 800 again goes under Carrie when we do this. But these are the things that were not put in the proper account. So as you can see, our total expenditures down at the bottom, that's what we're looking to pay out currently in the education fund, operation and maintenance fund, 3.4 million. Debt service, that is our repayment on our bonds. So, and that's increasing every year as our interest rate increases. So that's not going to go down. So 4.6 currently in debt, 1.2 in transportation. I'm gonna go over these in my budget presentation. So now if you wanna switch to them, please. I do want to start out, I know there were some tough decisions that were made in the spring of last year that was not easy for anyone in this room. We are not looking to cut any positions that impact students. So I want to put teachers and staff mind at ease that is not going to be necessary. There are some things we're going to have to look at. We're going to have to ask if we need to restructure. So, Rochester is in an okay place. We need to be in a much better place to where we can make sure we're offering the very, very best for our students, which we already are in the classroom. I know we're talking about health, life, safety, that there are some things that we need to update. I said the term or the slogan that everyone needs to understand for this year, functional, not pretty. That our facilities are by far the best in this area. I can't think of a district. Williamsville has very nice facilities, but it's not every single school like ours. So I commend everyone that's been a part of those changes. It's incredible. We don't have to have the newest of items. You know, if you have a 70s home and everything's still functioning and it looks good, there's no reason, you know, to rebuild and have it completely renovated. I just came from a district that hadn't done a building project since the 70s. They are updating their building, but they're still able to offer students the very best. It's your people, it's not your things that make a district. So that's what I hope to focus on with this budget moving forward. So next slide, please. I wanted to point out, and this is hard to see, so even, yeah, make it a little bigger. FY26 revenues. So we're looking at last year's budget compared to this year's budget. We do have an increase for the tax levy, which is not uncommon. Also, if you look at our district currently, only 10 homes for sale.
How'd that go? How's the house hunting here in
I bought
Rochester? I know.
Thank goodness. But you'll see, homes go up, they sell very quickly. This is a very strange real estate market. very healthy and homes go quickly. So that says a lot. Our tax levy therefore increases because we don't have a lot of homes. We won't see a lot of construction growth for new homes, nowhere to build. So that's happening to several communities around, not Chatham, but it does impact how much money we get locally. We had a CPI increase of 3.4% in FY '26, only a 2.7 increase for FY '27. And again, that is growth, that is.
Baseline plus 2.7%, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct. So, those are things that are healthy for our district, but they are not as healthy as they were during COVID. We're starting to see that post-COVID slump. So registration fees, those are pretty much flat due to enrollment. Our interest on investments found out tonight, Chris is gonna share this during his treasurer's report. I lowballed that figure just because we went down 10 million in our capital projects due to paying off our construction project. So in our Fund 60, you'll notice that's a sizable difference from last year. Our corporate tax, we're not one that gets a larger portion of corporate tax, but that is going up to 220 this year. We did see an increase with evidence-based funding, and that's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because it's not great that we have to rely on state funding to educate our kiddos, but it is great that we get 8.9 million to help our educational programs. So that was an increase for this year. Our mandated categoricals, that's where we're gonna start to get hit. In both special education and transportation, those both decreased. For Perkins, CTE, that's our vocational programming, that increased for this year. So you're seeing more of a push in CTE. The downside is transportation and special ed are seeing a decline. For federal revenue, also a decrease. There were some grants that we received previously that have been cut. So any question on projected revenues?
So overall, without doing the math there, it looks pretty well, slightly up, but most categories mostly flat. So it's not all that different probably than what we had thought.
That's correct.
6 months ago. Okay. Yeah, I got some. So where I was trying to look, because when I was looking through the form and I was trying to match up with the discussions we had previous to you, and I've got a questioning this, but an actual ed fund number for revenue, and it looks like projecting a 3 or 4 million high. It looked like, at least compared to that one, 1.8 million higher in the ed fund for revenue than what we had as like actuals through a certain date or something like that. So I don't, to the extent we can kind of compare those, it seemed odd because I didn't expect to see as big of a surplus in the ed fund on that, and it's all driven by that 1.8. We did expect to see some increase there, so I'm curious to know if, you know, again, I don't want you to go digging backwards too much because it's already done that, but that is a little bit of a head scratcher for me, is trying to wrap my head around that. It just, that one's not quite lining up, but this perfectly lines up, I think, for the last year.
And some of the things that could be different there, you're able to put the money in the funds in some places differently based off of sitting in the seat. I tend to put more CPPRT in the education fund, and also more of our EBF in our education fund, which can be split up between the education fund and the O&M fund. And some other funds as well. You can put CPPRT in capital projects, but just based off of what impacts students most, Fund 10.
What about county-wide sales tax?
That is not up there because that gone. I mean, that goes straight into paying off our debt.
Okay, so you took the, yeah, because that goes into what, capital fund and debt service?
Correct.
Debt service.
Correct.
And that makes sense, like,
Correct.
yeah.
She got it.
Yeah. So I didn't put that in there.
For, yeah, no, okay, that makes sense.
Any questions? Okay, next slide, please. This is the not so fun slide. I like the revenue. I don't like having to pay for anything. So FY '26 expenditures, and this is where Carrie and I are still working, because we know that that is a little low. So we're looking at an increase of about 2 million in salaries, 1.5 to 2 million. So once we get those done, that will be updated.
Versus the 13.
Pause.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, so you think 13.7 is
It's
really,
wrong.
is gonna be 15-ish?
Yes.
15 plus 15,
Yeah.
16, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not knowing the revenue is still perplexing on what I was looking at, but that would put the budget back into about where I would have gone in
Right.
terms of, okay, this.
But we still will not deficit spend. in
Yeah, no, yeah,
in
which
Fund
is,
10.
yep.
And so will benefits also go up?
Yes.
Because they are related, because they're
Yeah.
linked
Yeah.
to salaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is it the salaries and benefits? So
No, it's the
we'll go
salaries,
up,
salaries are 100, benefits are 200.
right, but that, when you say that what's on the presentation, the current, is that's low, and we expect it to go up 1.5 to 2, do you mean
Altogether.
both of those together will go up? So instead of the, okay, got it. Not that 13 will become 16, which would then make the benefits 2.4, whatever, together,
Correct.
okay, together would be 1.5 to 2.
And it was really nice being able to sit down with Carrie and look at the salaries. We knew at that point, we were just trying to figure out which bucket each of the salaries go into. So, she's been working hard to correct those, and these were the figures that we felt comfortable going with until she got that corrected.
Got it.
So another change, purchase services. That is our food contract or custodial contracts. It is a lot of our software, well, all of our software contracts. It is snow removal. It is working on our buses. Yeah, it would have been first
Would have been.
student. It is, anybody outside of our staff that we work with, so if we hire
Social worker, BCBA, board certified behavioral.
Right, okay.
all of that is purchase services. So this is an area as well that we really want to focus on. We do not want to impact 100 and 200 like we said before. It's that 300 on down that we need to look at where there could be cost saving measures. As we get further away from the students, 100 to 200 is closest to students, is you start to pull away from the focus directly on student instruction. We have to look at what we're doing.
How, with the teasing out of things, how confident are we about those two numbers? Because
Purchase services and supplies and materials.
mainly purchase services FY '26 and FY '27.
Purchase services, unfortunately, that is the amount of money that we are paying. And
So we
that
don't
would-
think that that's necessarily tied up in the kerfufflage of the charts of accounts.
There is some, but we have lots
I
of
know.
partnerships and
Yeah.
we definitely will not be over that by any means. Supplies and materials is where I believe we can make some movement.
So that's what I was gonna ask, is you're down $1.2 million there. So you think you can cut off $1.2 million in supplies and materials?
Not $1.2 million, a good 800,000 out of there, and then,
How much that's coming from the classroom.
not as much as you think. It's
The only reason I ask, I'll flip it, I'll share, we've had teachers for years buying more than they can virtually buy for their classrooms.
Yes.
That's gonna be,
Printer.
yeah.
Printer paper, that's not okay, right? And so, and parents are supplying a lot of things that a lot of school districts provide. So I'm just sharing right now that I want us to be super careful with this one, so as to not put that type of stress on our.
And printer paper, and just to go back to that, no one should have a printer in their room, because we have copy machines and printers, and we do get tons and tons of paper that we buy in bulk for our copy machines. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because as our enrollment has gone down, our copy has gone way up. And that was something that Watts shared with us at a meeting earlier this year. It should have been the trend. So Megan is gonna be working with our staff on how to make sure if you're printing out a puzzle for homework, or you're doing, a coloring page and it ends up printing out 1,000 as opposed to 10, just some things that we're doing, that can cut down on the amount of copies we make. But yes, for supplies and materials, the one thing, Josh, that was occurring though, is that individuals were making purchases on behalf of the district without district approval. So we have changed that. These are not small ticket items, and it's not to any fault of the staff
That
may
wasn't the context in the situation.
in supplies and materials, some of that fell into there.
Yeah, maybe as another
Yes,
example,
yes,
absolutely.
yes. So we are,
This was a very different example in this
Okay.
specific building,
okay,
where at a point in the year, it was, we have no more paper. So,
and the district
2 years ago,
would buy paper?
this, yeah.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure the voice of the teachers is heard on this one.
Well, no, and so I think what we hope to hear from you is, when you say close to the teacher, that's the kind of thing that
Right.
you are very close to the students, we know the staff is closest to the students. We will, their material, the things they need for education comes first, and
Absolutely.
the other, but where there are places where we can reduce, that are farthest,
Right.
and or that are farther away from, I'll tell you, that purchase services is bothering me, we need to know. Because we have, I don't know about you guys, I feel like we took action, we certainly intended to take action to cut a lot of things. And then to see, is a lot of that food and custodial costs going up in new contracts that is accounting for? Because I thought lots of the purchase services stuff was the subscriptions and all the kinds of things that
Well,
we,
if you're looking at 3.49 there,
yeah,
we pay very close to $1 million for our custodian. And that much for food services. So those are things that are two big contracts, but then you also have in there, snow removal was over 100,000 last year. That is something that we're gonna partner with the village.
thank you, village.
So there are some things that we have cut that might not be exact. It is.
I would never,
But it's pretty set,
Right.
like you said, it's custodial.
Contract, yeah, stuff like
Okay.
contracts, yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and we,
so it doesn't rub you funny
So-
to me.
No, I think the one, and again, I'll keep going back to the supplies and materials, because when I'm thinking through, I don't have it in front of me, but kind of the numbers we were working off of to manage the budget and what we were going off of. When you make the adjustment for salaries and benefits, and then you can sit we were still off, mental math, we were still off of versus what we were thinking about prior to now, but when I consider the supplies and materials, if that's attainable, that probably brings us in line largely with our expectations previous, to what we would have expected here in fiscal year 27. It's about the same if I adjust for that supplies and materials one, I think. So, again, it's making sense to me anyways. Again, if we can get that, if we get realistically get supplies and materials there, that would be very helpful today. Again, I think my biggest concern is I think we all agreed that we're gonna fix the problem we're gonna be in a position for the next year or two, but once you get to 29, fiscal year 29 and 30, we're back in a tough situation, so we needed that. We need stuff like that to solve that problem, so I appreciate you. Yeah, we're on the path to evaluate.
I will say, the teachers have been updated on this as well. When I met with both Matt and Laura, this was something that they understood too, that our biggest resource are teachers in the classroom. So if we have to head out a beanbag chair or, you know, a pink mouse.
Or the number of options
Right.
of
Rather than
software
in the
than.
spring, where they experienced a really stressful and depressing time
Yeah.
in their careers, and so,
Well,
Yeah, and father
let's
probably.
pay our
all
way
these
up.
things. Yeah.
so I'm glad,
Yeah.
yeah, positive conversation with the union and kind of understanding of like, yeah, the people are important, and pink cardstock.
Matt might be difficult as a coach, but I don't talk to.
Yeah. No, that's what my good news was gonna be, was day one. That's what my good news thing was gonna be.
What, that we made it through?
No, that it was, no, the kickoff with the teachers on Thursday, it was great, and the videos were great, and seeing their faces was great, and an opportunity to share from the board to the teachers and staff that we are very committed to ensuring that we never have another spring like that, as long as everyone in the room's still around, if we can avoid it, so. But yeah, that, but, so thank you for that, thank you for continuing to partner with them, thank you for sharing, because that is not a thing that I had heard, and I was paying attention. I thought I was paying attention. So, much appreciated. We're gonna, and it's nice to hear that we will in fact be ensuring that people have paper in the copy machine.
Let's balance efficiency.
Well, right, all the things. And continuing to take a critical eye on the things that we have thought of before. You know, the last time the union really partnered, well, you know, they came in with single space list of, well, if we're talking about things, here are some things, and we're like, okay, let's talk about things. And so, I'm glad to see that that is gonna be a continuing, effort.
Just on the efficiency standpoint, and not to assume that you've taken account for what you know right now and what the quick wins can be. However, in the spirit of continuous improvement, you expect there to be, make an assumption, other efficiencies that are found as you go through the year that very much help us.
I think there were always other efficiencies that could be explored. Absolutely.
Okay, look forward to that. Okay.
Capital outlay, of course, decreased a lot, and that takes into consideration the rest of our payment for that project, plus our two emergency health, life, safety that we did over the summer.
Okay.
And then our other objects, those are our debt that we pay down, that 4.9 million, our bus leases, and then our payment to out of district. Any questions on that?
No, ma'am, new slide.
New slide.
Too much time on that slide.
So this is just telling you our fixed costs, these are the things we're not gonna be able to change for this year. Salary and benefits, books, kids, debt repayment, yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow, that is a lot of money. Our multi-year purchase service contracts, we need to look at that, you know, we have another year on our contract with our auditor. Aptigee is what did our website, and we're gonna look to stop that because we have other avenues of sharing that information rather than doing it through Aptigee. So some of the things we were purchasing were redundant. I know parents love Parent Square. I would not take Parent Square because I live here now. I'd be scared some people would find me for keeping Parent Square. But Skyward also does the same thing that Parent Square does. So we have to look at those purchase service contracts and say, are we being redundant?
And so does Aptigee, which is, we're paying a whole communication system contract for our website. Yep, thank you for that. At some point, maybe at finance council, when we are kind of thinking, maybe the finance committee can get a breakdown of like when contracts are coming due.
He's doing that right now.
And time.
Yeah, we're just doing that right now.
Good. Excellent. Excellente.
I think, again, it's a, when we first all joined the board, I'm sure the more experienced board members, it's like, you get stuff brought to you, you're like, well, did we have that service before, or were we paying that before? So like, it's really difficult for us that we're like, well, we don't shut down the school, so it's like,
Yeah.
I think to the extent we have, here's what it is today, here's the service it provides, and let's, that way we can.
Yeah, and no one contracts ends so we can get ahead of, we wanna rebid or something.
Or think,
So things don't just pop up and you don't have the, cause I feel like that's happened.
Things get gotten
all the time.
renewed,
Yeah, we gotta renew it, cause we have to have it.
and or like the deadline to cancel came and went.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
That would be very
Nice.
And that is something that we've had to maneuver this year.
Yeah.
One of our items today, it's starting, we have to start somewhere, so it's a resolution to stop a contract that was not approved by the board. We have others that are coming your way, and as long as we do the resolution, we can get out of, and those are, you know, it's not just one, those are upward of $200,000.
Hey, Brittany, while you're gathering data, if you just, and, cause I just, rather than you have to do it one way and then go back, things like if there's a 60-day notice clause, like, if there are things, those little data points that you just throw a couple bullets.
Like you can terminate it.
Yeah, when's the expiration date, when's the termination date, and that sort of thing, yeah, we can make some more informed decisions. Okay,
Next
thanks.
slide, please. Our variable costs, those are our supplies and materials. These are the things we're gonna look at this year. Really looking at their effectiveness. So substitute costs, again, are individuals that are in with the students. Those are the people that need substitutes. Those that are outside of the office, or outside of the classroom, not as much. So we're going through and deciding who actually needs substitute, who does not. Anyone have any questions on that one? No?
Wait, is there an example of what we previous, or what
Our
the district does previously?
Our ladies that work in the office are so important. They are so important. Someone else in that office can fill in. We need subs, we need them in the classroom.
Meaning, right, you have a doctor's appointment, half day, getting colonoscopy, you don't need a sub. If you are having a major abdominal surgery, gonna be gone for 3 weeks, let's think.
No. You're talking potentially office staff who are gone
Will not
instead
get
of a
substitute.
substitute.
Okay. Godspeed.
Then overtime, prior permission for overtime has to be granted. And that way, transportation is one, we're gonna have overtime. And that's where we should have overtime. But, you know, our paraprofessionals, positions like that, we need to make sure we have prior approval before those are. Teachers, of course, they get stipends, they don't get overtime. Administration does not get overtime. Looking at this room, Robert would get overtime for time that he spends outside his contractual hours. Carrie's supposed to, but I don't know if she ever turns her stuff in, so.
Look at Blake's chair. Look where she's. You would never know, she's like, how close these guys. Yeah. See my soul through them. It's
Those
just-
are individuals that probably work. Stipends not covered by REA, that sounds, I worded that strangely. We also have been talking about the BLT, which is not a sandwich, but it's a business building leadership team. And last year, I believe we had close 30 members. Both the union and and our team discussed that we want to make that more intentional, that there be a job description and that those duties are fulfilled in order to make the best decisions at each building. And we limited to each building 4 representatives. If you get too many people making decisions, it doesn't go very well. I believe that was receptive to that. I can't speak for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And there's also
For now.
There's also been talk of working on Schedule B together. So that's that is the authorized, the identified stipends. I haven't seen. There's stipends identified for clubs that haven't existed in a decade. So just so just know what we have. Allocate resources appropriately.
Some of the other costs, we just talked about that. Some of the contracts or expenditures made over $10,000 that were not approved by the board. That was the standard cost in Pawnee that I had to ask for permission. I feel very comfortable with that amount. I think anything that amount or above needs to be approved, and that we make sure that it is aligned with our strategic plan. The next one, building request for facility improvements. There is going to be a process of building request. There was one request for film on windows in this building. We don't need the film on our windows, and that was a $1,500 to $2,000 purchase. There's a process. None of this is any of our money. It's not my money, but it needs to be signed off on by the proper individuals so that there isn't that much spending. And I believe that operations and maintenance fund 20, that is definitely an area that we can improve upon with spending. And then we wouldn't have to put some of the funds that could be put into Fund 10 into Fund 20. Because right now we're putting about $1 million that could go into Fund 10.
In relationship to, you had talked about scheduled maintenance, right? So those things go hand in hand, right? So when you have a request for add-ons, but sticking to a
schedule,
to a maintenance and ongoing schedule so that we know what we plan. Okay, thank you. Just making sure that those two things were aligned. Okay, thank you very much.
Slide, please. And then a couple of things that we want to make sure, and we talked about this, chart of accounts needs cleaned up and salaries tied to the right area.
Will that bung up? When we have to get it, we definitely have to get it right before we upgrade to whatever the new Skyward thing is, right?
We're about 2 years out. What do you say?
Okay.
Students.
Not for.
But for
not
the
for
finance
for
side.
finance.
Okay,
Yeah.
so fix it, play with it for 2 years. Right. First year students get upgraded, and then finance comes next, and we'll be in good shape by then.
They'll change it.
I know, good. Okay, got it, thank you. We ask them as we go, ma'am. We ask them as we go.
I have an easy question. I didn't see this presentation in our board packet. Can we get it?
Yes, and it's gonna go up on the website.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to.
Yes.
Somebody can know it. That would be
Yes.
great.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure we'll talk about that more. All right. That is our last discussion item.
Sarah, just
yes,
real quick, just to clarify for anybody watching, so then this goes on display for 30 days and then is formally voted on next month, just so that everybody's clear of the process.
Yes. So if you want to come look at the official, what's that thing called?
No, that's from our audit. This is just the budget, and
so
we have it up
form
on the website right now. We can put, we have a physical document in the district office. It's very lengthy.
Yeah.
I have a couple of reports that I will have to complete, before we adopt in September. That's our evidence-based funding. I have to show where we're gonna spend that. I also have to do a limitation of administrative cost.
Right.
We do not have to do a deficit spending plan. It very much puts that in bold, that we do not have to do a deficit reduction.
Okay, very good, thank you for that. Okay,
Thank you.
all right, moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Before, is there a second? There's not a donation this month,
I
okay,
just
so,
kept that on there.
yep, appreciate it, and then other. Oh, and then the only note before we call roll, the 7.10 is, it is a second reading, we did a first reading, it just wasn't last month. So it was I had an agenda boo-boo. So that's 7.10 has been, we had first reading, I think, in June. Okay. All right, any questions before we vote? Okay, thank you, Mr. Boyd, see you later. All right, Mr. Reynolds, please call the roll.
Mr. Farley? Yes. Mr. Childs? Yes. Mr. Taft?
Yes.
Ms. Lamonte?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes, please. Okay, thank you. Action items. All right, we've been spoiler alerting ourselves all evening. All right, 8.1, discussion and approval to move funds from the Illinois Treasury to American Bank. We talked about this last month, and in fact, we asked questions, and I kind of forgot that we didn't take action on it. So we did discuss it again in the finance committee. And did anybody have any questions about that? Do you want to give a presentation, or I felt like we had a pretty lengthy discussion, and I was comfortable. It's an FDIC backing of our funds at the bank, similar to what other public organizations do. Andrea was very familiar, because that's the fire department.
The one ask we had is just about cost, because we were worried that the interest rates slightly lower, that we were gonna actually receive less interest revenue. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's in the treasury report, but, also, so I put together a spreadsheet based off our finance committee meeting that, I attended, and the board requested, and this, spreadsheet is hypothetical, because, you don't know exactly the balances on a given day, so, this is gonna be for all accounts, not just, or for all the amount that's in all accounts, not just, Fund 10, educational, all that stuff. So if you look at it currently, at our Illinois funds, and then, first line on the spreadsheet, that tells you the total balance. Illinois funds, the average rate's around 3.75. And then if you look at the interest that would have been there, that's the interest for, and currently you hold about anywhere from 2 to 3 million. I just said it's 2 million across the board at American Bank. And then if we do the there's a formula inside there, so the calculation comes into approximately, this is hypothetically be about 62,646, and then if we move everything over into the ICS, you're going to pick up the 3.63 on the full 2 million, and then even though you're dropping a little bit of rate, you're actually picking up a little bit more. So hypothetically speaking, you would look at making about $50,000 more in the ICS, even though the rate is a little bit lower. You're picking it up on the 2 million that usually doesn't make as much of an interest.
So thank you for doing the exercise. I appreciate that.
And it does also take into account each month that the expenditures are about $2.4 million. But that's being taken out at the beginning of the month, and that's why I said it's hypothetically, because those
Fluctuates by day.
That fluctuates by day, and you're gonna accrue interest on a daily basis. So the calculation on this is very, I guess, not exact, because all I'm doing is doing what the interest rate is, and you divide that by 365, and it times it by 30. So it's, not within the exact, but it's gonna be probably big holes. And so by this theory, looking at it this way, I know Molly had indicated about a $200,000 budget for interest. I'm indicating that would probably be a lot higher than that, probably pushing the anywhere from 500,000 to 600,000 in interest this year. So that's gonna be an extra increase in the budget line for revenue. Not necessarily, because in years past, last year, I think you had about 900,000 in revenue, the interest side. But you also got to factor in, you gotta take about 10 million off, so you take 10 million, off of that. And if you had 3.75, that's about 375,000, give or take, roughly, depending on when that comes in. And so that would be about where you're at now. Take 375 off of 900 from last year, you're gonna be in that 550 to 660 range, depending on when the or revenue comes into the accounts.
That was my only question.
Look at that. That is awesome. And I will just say that 3.5% on 10 million or 1 million is about the math that I can do. All those numbers, it's just decimal points, but I can do that. Okay, anybody have any questions about, any questions about that? I guess, Aaron, I would say the, I think it's worth pointing out, the finance committee did discuss and you bring recommendations to the board. And as I understood it, the committee's recommendation was, to approve the move.
Yes. Yep.
All right, anybody have any questions? Okay, seeing none, is there a motion to approve moving funds from the Illinois Treasury to American Bank? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Reynolds, please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Taft?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamontagne?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Okie dokie, 8.2 is mine. Okay, discussion and approval, thank you so much. Another element of our board governance meeting was to talk about committees and how we wanted to do committees, how we wanted to make assignments to committees, and whether we had the right set of committees for our district. So thank you for that conversation. We did talk about having finance, policy, finance, buildings, and policy are required. And those are meetings that we want to have on a monthly basis, and we intend to, once we do assignments, we'll get people's availability, and then we will set a time. So whether it's the first Wednesday of the month, or it's the second Tuesday of the month, so that the community knows when to expect these monthly meetings of finance, buildings, and policy to be held. We also have meetings, we also have existing committees that meet quarterly, including Gen Ed, the CACC quarterly meeting. Extracurricular has existed for a long time, and we did vote to retain that. And then we discussed and decided to, proposing for action, approving the creation of 2 additional board committees to meet quarterly, and one on the topic of special education and one on the topic of student achievement. So any questions on that? Kind of the makeup, the monthly versus quarterly, and the new committees? Okay. So then, thank you for those who responded to the Google form to identify your interest. I shared when we did our board governance that I would hope to get everyone's first and or second. We're just mind meld, so we're totally good. And so that everyone would at least have their first or second. I was able to get everyone. I think everyone got their first choice, and almost everyone got their second choice. And one second choice that I was not able to accommodate was really a pity, thankful second choice, doing me a favor, and I got their third choice. So this is what I have proposed and what I would ask action for. The finance committee, the board members assigned to that committee would remain Aaron and Don. Buildings would remain. Building would be. I know it had been Aaron and Bob, and I pulled Bob into something else. I don't think I fixed that. We may have, we'll leave a Bob and Aaron for now, and we'll see how, if we don't wanna overcommit people. Policy, Josh and Andrea, thank you both. Gen Ed, Andrea has been a fearless member of Gen Ed for many, many moons. Fun fact of the night, Mr. Rob Childs has been participating with CACC for many moons previously as an instructor, and he has agreed to join Molly as our representative at the quarterly CACC meetings, bring that perspective. Yes. Special ed, Kristen and Andrea. Student achievement, Kristen and Josh. And then extracurricular, and Bob, this is one where I may see it, I'll just check anybody else's availability, but I was gonna have Bob and Don, because it was really important that our extracurricular quarterly meeting included someone with a deep, historic understanding of fine arts as well, and a historical perspective as well, how we've done things in the past. So that is, unless anyone has any questions or any objection to that, that is the assignments that I intend to make and advertise to the community, so that if people have any specific questions or want to ask about the committee assignments. Sound good? Okay, very good. Thank you so much for your interest, everybody, and I think it does a nice job balancing experience, our talents, and our interests. So, and I don't remember if Amy said this last time, but I don't know if it's true of all places, but Amy said the president is like ad hoc on all of them, so she never assigned herself to any of them, so I did the same. So, okay. All right, I will send that around to everyone, and we will make sure that that is in minutes. Okay. Oh, do I have a motion to approve the board committee assignments as just verbally shared with the group? Is there a second? Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graham?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Tapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamontagne?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to 8.3, discussion and approval of the amended 2026-27 school calendar.
Yes, we made a couple of changes. One, we were starting off the school year with 3 days of teacher in service. We moved that to 2, so we moved back the start of the year by 1 day, and we're gonna do a teacher in service October 9th, so that will not be a student attendance day, that will be a long holiday weekend. Teachers and all staff, October 9th, will participate in a regional office of education and professional development. Williamsville's participating, Chatham, Pawnee, us, I believe 186. It's just region-wide, so we're able to participate and learn from others. One of the sessions is there that I'm hoping our high school teachers will want to participate in is moving from block to traditional schedule. There's also an opportunity for our teachers to instruct on the wonderful things they're doing in the classroom, because they're ones to watch. So, just a good partnership that we hope to continue with for years to come.
Sorry, can you say the changes again in terms of the dates?
So we did not start August 12th. We started August 13th.
Yep.
And then October 9th will be a non-student attendance day.
Yep.
We were able to do this because November 3rd at first, nothing could be scheduled. That is now going to be a waiver day for our parent-teacher conferences. So it still will be a non-attendance day, but it's a waiver day for our teachers. And we still get out at the same time.
Look at that. So we did not change the last day of school. Got it.
Yes,
Excellent.
we did not take any days off of holidays, so those were important.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there a motion to approve the amended 2026-2027 school calendar as described?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graham?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Tapp?
Yes.
Mrs. Lamontagne?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm
Yes.
sure you'll put that on the website.
Yes. Megan made a graphic, have you shared that yet?
I have not, because I was waiting for you guys to approve
Awesome.
officially
Thank
this
you.
evening,
Yeah,
but
I'll
it's
do
just kind of a nice little graphic so that parents can state that and know what are the dates that my students or my kids will not be in school. It also has the early dismissal, 2-hour dismissals on there, so hopefully it's just, to me, that district calendar's a bit difficult to read at times. I don't know if anyone else, savors those same thoughts, but, just a nice quick snapshot of what are the days that I need to have coverage for my kids.
Thank you. And I do know that there were members of the community that were thinking along the same lines and had created a graphic. I'm glad that we will be able to fill that, so thank you for your.
I'm happy to collaborate with them if they would like to.
Teacher there, but, so we'll fill that point in this instance. Thank you so much. Okay. Discussion and approval of bills, payroll, treasurer, and activity accounts report. Again, we just keep spoilering ourselves, the big items. Thank you for sharing the treasurer's report. Anything in particular that you would like to, point out?
The only items I'd really point out, because it does speak of what we already talked about, if you look in there, it also shows you all the balance funds for all the different accounts and investments. And then also in the top part, I did review all of the current bill list and discussed it with Molly, and all bills are within the more expensive budget.
Very good, thank you. And I appreciate your, call out specifically with transportation and janitorial to keep an eye as we go through here. Much appreciated. Okay. Anybody have any questions on the bills or, the treasurer and activity account reports?
One second. Wow, I started using the notes feature. There's so many.
I know, it's like, oh, we move from note to note.
I know, I'm fine for it. That's fine.
Well, we also have access to him otherwise.
Yep.
So we can, well, if you think of it, let us know. Thanks so much. Okay, is there a motion to approve the bills, payroll, treasurer, and activity accounts reports? So, is there a second?
Second.
I'll second.
Thanks. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs? Yes. Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Tapp?
Yes.
Ms. Lamonte? Yes. Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Okay, this has also been previewed earlier today, so, approval of a resolution disapproving invoice number 1713, Love Your Classroom. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
So this is gonna be one of
The first of stuff.
many. This was something that our attorney recommended that we do. There was language in this contract that we could get out of it with 7 days notice. Gave the 7 days notice, and it was still asked that we pay a portion of this contract. This is just the start of getting all of our staff used to asking for board approval at 10,000 or over. It's to no fault of anyone. This is just first of many, and it had contract language that we were able to do a resolution. So we have another one coming with a grant for 40,000. And then we may have another one with a contract that says something was signed. We can't prove that at this point. So, if we don't do this, with the loss of some funding, and then paying for things we don't necessarily need, we need to have these resolutions in place to disapprove invoices.
Godspeed. We're not spending money we don't wanna, and especially for a service that we didn't get, especially when we filed the contract language, so.
Any rest?
Thank you for that, report. We look forward to any others. Is there a motion to approve the resolution disapproving the invoice number 1713 Love Your Classroom LLC?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Tapp?
Yes.
Ms. Lamonte?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Discussion and approval of a resolution to appoint Brittany Henton as the IMRF authorized agent for Rochester CUSD 3A. Seems pretty self-evident. More jobs. I think that is, so IMRF, of course, being the retirement fund for the non-TRS staff. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay, is there a motion? Thank you. A second. Please call the roll. We're getting already.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs? Yes. Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Sapp?
Yes.
Ms. Lamonte?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterman?
Thank you very much. It's that time of year. It is time for the EIS Administrator Teacher Salary and Benefits Report for school year 2026. Anyone have any questions about that? Everyone and their mom gets it posted? Nope. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the EIS Administrator Teacher Salary and Benefits Report? Thank you. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly?
Yes.
Mr. Childs?
Yes.
Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Taft?
Yes.
Ms. Lamonte?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterman?
Yes.
Excellent. Administrator reports. Thank you, principals and directors, for submitting your reports. And best of luck with your first week, etc., etc. We have already done the board treasurer's report. Thank you so much. You didn't have anything else separately, did you? Okay.
Question
Oh, yes, please.
Yes.
Okay.
for Megan.
Oh,
On your chart here, when it compares 26, 27 to 25, 26, probably an easy one is, are the numbers going for what the cohort was the previous year? Or is it just that grade compared to?
That grade compared to last year. So what you see as pre-K for 25, 26, that's, pre-K is not a good example because some of them would be in pre-K again. So first grade would probably be a better example. So first grade in 25, 26 would be our second grade numbers in 26, 27. So you kind of have to go diagonally across, except for pre-K because some of those do move because they may have been 3 last year.
Was there
So it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, was there a typo? Cause I was looking at that, cause like second grade last year is really, like, there's a 15 student. That was huge last year, I just wonder if there was maybe a typo. Like second grade was 111 last year, and then third
Yeah,
grade
and
is
then
162 this year, yeah.
That is, third grade is large this year. It is a
And
bit of a
second
bubble
grade,
class.
But it was a lot large last year too, I think.
That's coming through.
It's not a big deal, but I just, that was
Yeah.
one that I caught, and I have the same question as you, Josh, because of that, cause I'm like,
Yeah.
they were huge last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It
one
might have just been a
11.
typo.
So, yeah, those numbers came from school report card, as best as I could
Okay.
get those information. And this year's, numbers came that we pulled from Skyward.
Yeah.
But yeah, third grade is a little bit of a bubble class for us. Kindergarten numbers were kind of creeping up there too a little bit, just as we were looking at our class sizes. So that was one that we were watching kind of closely. But we do have those 7 sections of third grade.
Yeah. Hey, Megan, can you check the second grade number from 25?
From last year? Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
It's the next largest class.
yeah, we didn't add 50 students this year, it's always been big.
I will say this is an area both Megan and Jennifer have had to work very diligently on the SIS numbers, and some of our school report card numbers also were not.
Yeah.
So we're getting more training on SIS and getting the right people trained so that they can.
Like school part, like the one that gets posted.
Yeah, like the submission to, yeah.
So there's just to speak on that a little bit, there's a massive amount of information that needs to be concluded at the end of each school year. A lot of that is through our technology department, so I cannot say enough good things about Cheryl Flynn and the people working alongside her and the work that they were doing. I can't imagine trying to work through all of that. But there's a lot of data pieces that go into a lot of different things, and all of those contribute to data factors that contribute to your summative designations. And I'll talk more about that once those are released, and those usually come out around Halloween, and they're kind of on, while there's a new system of accountability measures, they're still on sort of that same timeline. High school graduation is the big one, right? And when students don't get exited properly, and when information isn't rolled over, that really impacts your high school graduation number. And so there were a lot of, and we were on a timeline, there's a time crunch to get all of those things done and all of those things corrected in SIS. And you don't know immediately when those things get corrected if they got corrected properly. There's a 24-hour waiting period on all of those things to update and all the systems working together. So there's definitely a need for training for the people that will be working closely with that information so that can be as accurate as possible. And we don't have a similar situation in July that we had this July. So, but I will certainly
From your lips to
look,
God's ears, creeks don't rise and all the toes cross.
I'll certainly look into more accurate numbers for specifically for second grade, but for all of
Well,
those.
no,
I
they're
think
all
it's
wrong.
probably type, yeah.
No, I mean, several of them are wrong, because at least the numbers that we had, I think that all those rounds, the 185, 175, 145, we always talked about how the seniors last year were the biggest class, the juniors were the next, 8th grade, and then 8th grade and 2nd grade were the next two. I remember, because it happens to be seniors, my daughter, my son, and Kristen. And so we always talked about, like, well, you know, we're doing our part in enrollment in our grade. So I think they're just all a little off, and I think we have different numbers that were shared at different times when we were like in kind of real time, and so maybe maybe it was a projected number. That it seems unlikely that 4 of the 6 oldest classes all are round numbers and with 5.
Yeah.
145, 175, 165, 185. It just seems wildly unlikely. But
So, I think this was really helpful, especially last year when we were thinking through next 5 years and that sort of thing. We know our demographics are changing somewhat significantly, and it's impacting our enrollment and whatnot.
Every school district.
Yeah, so I think as we think about this with the budget, and then more importantly, kind of like the 5-year plan, and if we could get this kind of information kind of parlayed with that, because I think that's, again, we want to make sure that we are staffed appropriately in the right spots at all parts, you know, teaching and broadly. So it's just helpful for us as a board to say, okay, yes, we're planning for these different class sizes and things like that. We want to manage attrition appropriately and all these things, but we also want to make sure we have what we need for the students to maintain where we feel.
And I think we'll be comfortable to do that closer to like January timeframe.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because
Yeah.
right now, we're seeing duplicated numbers, and enrollment's solid though. For as much as we think that enrollment in Rochester is declining, it's staying steady. It's just they're younger.
kindergarten was scary for
We thought we were going to be under 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not.
Wasn't
Nope.
surprised.
And class sizes, and once we get these numbers corrected, class sizes, we wanna make a commitment to keeping the lower levels, keeping those class sizes small. And I was over at the elementary building at the end of the day today, and those teachers still had smiles on their faces, I don't know how they do it. But
Wired
the
differently.
kids just
They are
kept
wired.
coming, they didn't, it's a never ending line, and
We've had some late registration,
Yeah.
so those numbers have changed since
Yeah.
to prepare for the board packet. Sort of that 6-day enrollment number, you know, is kind of always the big one that people look at. We've not had 6 days of school yet.
Right.
It feels like we have, but we have not had 6 days of school yet. We haven't even finished, we haven't enrolled through SIS students for the school year yet, because there are places in Illinois that haven't started school yet. So there's sort of that time to kind of work out all of those different situations, so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. Yeah. No, not speed.
I have a small human at home that loves rocket launch, so I just wanted to say, personal plug there, nice job to all the teachers that did that. And then technology, 3rd and 4th grade, any feedback from teachers on not sending Chromebooks home?
I would say probably too early to tell at this point. You know, teachers right now on day 3 are working on building classroom communities, focusing on routines, procedures. I think they're certainly aware that, you know, Chromebook access will look different. And that's something that instructional coaches and I, alongside building principals, are working on with them of what does that look and sound like? So that we can make that shift to what I would consider like pencils over pixels, or pages of actual books over pixels. And specifically during wind time, what can we, put in kids' hands? What can we do alongside kids that doesn't have them on a device? One, because it's not available to them in that same way, and I think the people that they have working with them are more impactful when with working with our kids during that time.
Triggers different parts of your brain, right? Like touching and feeling and all of that.
Yeah, and just thinking about that, developmental appropriateness of, what a kindergartner would be experiencing, and how, they don't wanna do anything for 30 minutes. I don't wanna try to make them do the same thing for 30 minutes. So how can we structure that time so that they get lots of different experiences? And then how can we build on those so that we give those kids that haven't quite mastered some of those skills more opportunities to practice, but then how can we enrich those skills of those students that have already mastered those?
Yeah, no, I think all that's great. I'm just thinking about, the third part of schools built themselves around that infrastructure for so many years, and that was the only reason I kind of wanted to check in.
Yeah, and that's why we have the levels of support that we have. So just like we have win time for our students, we also we want to create those same type of experiences for our teachers. So I can't say enough about the 3 instructional coaches that we have and how fantastic those 3 ladies are with the work that they do with our teams. We also have an incredible, this is rare, but it's a fantastic addition that Rochester has, the mentor teacher leaders that we have. A lot of places have mentors, but specific mentor leaders that are developing those next generations of leaders and the work that they are doing. And our mentor teachers are fantastic. So our new staff members that you met this evening have great mentors and instructional coaches coming alongside them, helping them. That's one of the things that we really tried to drive home during new teacher orientation, is that we have too many people around here that do not want you to fail, that will not let you fail for that to happen. Our instructional coaches have been in classrooms. They're working on doing coaching cycles. We have data days coming up once we get through this first round of benchmark assessments, where we're sitting down with every teacher, K through 6, and then also our ELA and math teachers at the junior high and high school level, to really look at their data with them and help them figure out how can they have a lot on their plates, right? And that data is not about having more on their plate, but making sure they have the right things on their plate. And how can we support them as we have to maybe make some shifts away from that Chromebook dependency.
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Of course.
With the materials and supplies being cut, is this going to hinder them being able to step away from the Chromebooks a little bit more?
Absolutely, because when we look at things like, I think about elementary level, like things that would happen during win time would be for fluency, say, if we have students that are working on building their reading fluency. Those are all things that I don't need a lot of supplies to do. That could be repeated readings of text that we already have, or that you can quickly make. Place where AI and technology does come into place for our teachers is ChatGPT, Gemini, any of those large language models can create really good Reader's Theater scripts. So if you need, a 3-person Reader's Theater script about rockets written at a 3rd grade level, you can put that information into ChatGPT. It will kick that out for you, and then we have that we can model with our students. There's not a lot of stuff that we need for that. Again, we have a lot of texts in our classrooms, and I would rather spend the precious dollars that we do have for instructional materials on things like higher level text, more complex text that they will have year after year, and we can build those anthologies, as opposed to an online subscription that I don't really have anything to show for, right? Things like math flashcards for building math fluency, or there are so many fluency things that you can do with a simple deck of cards and dice. So to be able to have, or even just some index cards that you're writing some numbers on, like simple, easy things like that we can even share with parents if they're looking for things to do with their students at home, but are very, low cost, but high impact in terms of what students are doing in the classroom.
I may have heard Casey's question wrong, but I think she was asking if the decrease in supplies would hinder education. You said absolutely. I think it would.
Oh, yes. No,
I
it
just
would
wanted to
not,
clarify.
it would not
Yeah.
hinder us being able to do what we
Basically,
wanna do.
yeah, not relying on the Chromebook as much and not getting the materials needed, like
Yeah.
the fourth and fifth graders, are they gonna be
Yeah,
not
there
getting
might
the
be a
subsidized-
time where like an online supplement or something like that might serve its purpose, but that would be for like a very short, finite amount of time for something specific, like maybe I'm doing this fact fluency, for like 10 minutes or something while I'm waiting to work with teacher, because while I'm doing the fact fluency, my teacher's working with someone else. Again, thinking about the developmental ability to task of some of our younger students, might make more sense to break that 30-minute instructional time up into 3 sessions of like 10 minutes where they're changing activities. So they might have a little bit of Chromebook time, they might have some time with teacher, and then they might have a time where they're doing something independently to give them another opportunity to practice previously learned skills.
And so what I hear is that, I hear that from you to the instructional coaches, to the mentors, to the mentor leaders, that all of those different pieces are working together to help say, oh, hey, instead of, because some of this is where we look to our veteran teachers, right? Our veteran elementary teachers, and they killed flashcard back in the day, right? And some of our teachers who maybe didn't love or embrace technology at first, but it was coming, so they got it. They still have those skills. We just gotta
So
teach them
instructional
to
coaches and I have been working on like win time menus.
Oh,
so
great.
Things that so we have ones for ELA, ones for math, and those are just a variety of things that teachers can go to and know that these are the flashcard games, these are the games that use dice, these are the fluency things, these are the phonics interventions that we can do. Again, all of those are absent Chromebook. That they can use during win time. Yeah, and then their mentors can work with them on, okay, so given what we know about these students, what makes an appropriate match? Who would need this, who would need that, let's give that some time, let's see where we are, okay, now we're ready to move on to the next thing. So that, again, as much as we're putting tools in students' toolbox, we wanna do that same thing for our teachers too, so that they have what they need as well.
Great, thank you. Any other questions?
In the future,
Yeah.
can we get a transportation report?
We can, and I'm actually gonna give a report on that.
Okay,
Just
okay.
Before we jump to you, real quick, Ms. Shaw, quick question. 275 students receiving special ed services. I remember, my brain is flashing back to one of the presentations that you gave when we were still in the spring in the auditorium. How does this year's number of students receiving special ed services compare to last year's?
Right now it's down, but I think that we need to revisit that again in September or October. There were lots of students that weren't enrolled yet, so
Oh, got it. So, all right, I have asked myself twice this week, why is it that we have a board meeting on the first week of school? Like we were so proud of ourselves for not doing it on the actual first day. Maybe let's remember this team school board members when we schedule for next year. Okay,
and
thank
when we
you.
look at the number that I gave you last year, that's based on the December 1st child count. So that's like our official child count.
It's December 1st.
So if we're really comparing apples to apples, that's what I would compare it to.
Okay, great. That's helpful. Thank you very much. All right. Anybody have anything else before we move to Molly's report? Okay, Pam,
And I'm gonna go off track.
Whoa.
Step on the report we've already covered, except for the huge thank you to the staff and the principals. They have been incredible this week, from prior to school starting, having a phone party at the elementary school, which was so fun. And then going into the first couple days of teacher in service, just the energy that the teachers brought was super fun. And then the first couple of days of school. So yes, on Sunday, we put out an email just asking for everyone's patience and grace as we go through, pickup, drop off, all the transportation fun of the first week. The first day, it started out great at the elementary school, just watching that more parents were crying than kids. The kids were excited to go, and I did take a preschooler to Miss Tasker's room and then realized, hey, this is kindergarten. But just watching all the staff buy in when they would see a student reluctant to come inside, the way they just supported and made parents feel safe. It was incredible to watch. Then we went to pickup at the intermediate school. It was a little long the first day, and everyone would admit that. Mackenzie was amazing. We changed some things around as a team. She implemented those with Megan's help, and the next day it was 15 minutes faster, and maybe even more. And we're gonna get it down below 10 minutes as we move forward. That's the goal we're shooting for. Buses are still a mess, and we're working on those. I commend our bus drivers. They are incredible people. Jamie Jackson is staying up very late at night to make sure that rosters are in Skyward. So it is no fault to anyone. You just can't practice for who's gonna be on the bus, how long it's gonna take. We've hired another bus driver. He's gonna go into the rotation on Monday. We have found though that a lot of the bus drivers, they really like the extracurricular routes, and we want them to keep those, because that is a good portion, you know, of their salaries towards bus driving. We have to take care of our kids in school first. So that morning and afternoon route, that's number one priority. Number two priority is our extracurriculars. We won't let anyone fall. We just have to look at things differently. Our goal is to get the kids down to 45 minutes tops on the bus. Right now, some of them are on there for 2 hours. That is way too long. And so we're meeting tomorrow to come up with a different plan, and we are constantly reassessing and changing things to do what's best for kids. It's gonna take a little bit. I'm still trying to get Bob to drive the bus.
So we are still fully staffed in terms of drivers?
Correct. And
do we have overages for like fill-ins and?
Not now that we're gonna add another route. And I guess I was not understanding that when an extracurricular trip would happen, we double up routes. Can't double up those babies being on the bus for 2 hours and then make it 3 hours. So we're having discussions now as to how we are gonna make this all work. And it could be that there is a team that can go on 2 activity buses. We just have to look at some different plans. Yes.
So thank you for that. Thank you
Yes.
for continuing to, shout out to the RAS team, and I know others were helping and supporting that too. We ride the wilderness.
Yes.
We heard a lot, and we heard a lot about improvement too, so that's huge.
Well, we just ask for continued grace. If busing changes, it's to benefit your kid, right? So, there's gonna be some more movement, it sounds like, but.
And it will only be
ultimately
better movement.
Of course. Exactly.
Hearing a dad say, oh my goodness, my kiddo has to be picked up at 6:30 in the morning, it's really early.
Yeah.
So we do have to listen to those things, and then the last student not getting off the bus till close to 5 o'clock, and then possibly having to go to another practice right after that, that just leads to nightmare at home. So everyone's working together. Really appreciate that. There's no one that says we're not gonna do it that way. It's just a matter of reassessing and adding people in spots. Bus drivers are so important. We want to keep them here and keep them happy, but regular routes are.
I just wanna give a shout out to our bus drivers, cause those are the first people our kids see. And then the last people that our kids see in the day, and I know my 5-year-old's dreams came true. On Monday, he got to ride the bus.
He's a bus driver. So excited, he's a bus driver.
He is
anyone listening in at home or posting on Who's Your Teacher, do we need more drivers?
We always need more drivers.
Always.
Like I said,
Oh,
we
that
have
was gonna be the answer.
another individual going into the rotation on Monday.
Kindergarten, yeah.
And we have a couple others that are interested,
Oh, great.
that every district is having difficulty finding bus drivers. We do offer insurance here. That is not something that a lot of districts do. But our bus drivers are so important, so they need to be celebrated
Yes.
often.
And even if it's, I would presume, even if it's you're right now driving a truck for harvest, that's not harvest time yet, I feel small. But it's coming up, right, and if it's, you're looking and you wanna, and you help out over the winter, we got lots of sports overlapping, that sort of thing. Any availability.
So want to, any union workers that may be laid off for the winter?
It's a good way for parents to get to their kids' extracurricular activities.
And it's
Bus there. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Anything else for Molly before we move on? Okay, thank you. Oh, we have arrived. We've arrived at closed session. Is there a motion to enter into closed session in accordance with the Open Meetings Act for the purposes set out in said statute in sections 2C1, 2C2, 2C9, 2C10, 2C11, and 2C5.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Carly? Yes. Mr. Childs? Yes. Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Taft? Yes. Mrs. Monte?
Yes.
Mr. Flouderman?
Yes.
All right. And with that, this will be the last time we kick you out, everybody. We'll see you next month.
You know, I'm still gonna try to get you this bus driver.
Monitor? I am
Okay,
You may go live.
thank you.
I know. Getting this 10:15. Okay, is there a motion to approve the closed consent agenda as presented, keeping in mind the conditions precedent for the personnel report? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Farley?
Yes.
Mr. Childs? Yes. Dr. Graff?
Yes.
Mrs. Curley?
Yes.
Mr. Taft? Yes. Mrs. Lamonte?
Yes.
Mr. Slaughterback?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn? And anyone who would like to take birthday cake home for breakfast may do so. Thank you.
Oh,
Hey,
all in favor?
all those in favor by assent? Aye. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is yours. And I'll let you go change it. We're supposed to be signing.
Yes. When we talked about practice at closed session, we always gave it back to Gary, if we just give it to Rob.
No, not yet.
Like,